As the migrant crisis continues to impact the Bay State, Governor Maura Healey's administration is looking for unconventional ways to provide shelter.
Now a local university is a possibility. Western Mass News reporter Daniel Santiago joins us live in studio after getting answers on this possible alternative. Daniel.
Chris, Abby, migrant families arriving in Massachusetts have been previously put up in hotels, churches, and even homes hosted by different families. Now, Westfield State University could soon become another temporary housing solution in this ongoing crisis.
The migrant crisis in the United States keeps growing. And with the state of Massachusetts being the only right to shelter state in the country, migrant families are arriving here now more than ever, seeking only one thing: emergency shelter. There are an estimated 5,800 families in state shelters, and those numbers include children and pregnant women. Earlier this month, Governor Maura Healey declared a state of emergency, making the search for housing options a run against time.
This is an immediate problem, and she needs an immediate solutions.
Western Mass News spoke to Westfield Mayor Michael McCabe about the state's focus on Lammers Hall on the Westfield State University campus as a possible shelter location, an option that he says may not be an ideal solution, especially for those who live on campus and nearby.
When folks made the decision to go to Westfield State, that was not part of the rubric. Yes, it does have a beneficial humanitarian effort, just the need to feel good about yourself, that you're helping somebody who is in an adverse condition. But in this particular circumstances, I personally, as the mayor of the city, am not overwhelmingly confident that this was the best solution for the problem.
Western Mass News reached out to Westfield State University for comment and were told to contact the governor's office. We asked Mayor McCabe if there are any other possible locations in Westfield. He tells us it's a challenging issue.
When you ask the question, are there any other alternative sources? Those alternative sources are now private sources, and would they be amenable to selling their private source or their space in terms of lease in temporary shelters? The problem with doing that is if a temporary shelter is a temporary shelter, that's a 6-month lease.
Whether hosting migrant families on the Westfield State campus becomes a reality or not, some organizations in Western Mass believe the conversation should be simple, and they're preparing to help. Lori Millman, the executive director of the Center for New Americans, tells Western Mass News in a statement, "We believe that any organization that has the resources to welcome newcomers is right to consider how they can be a part of a welcoming community."
Now, we also checked with the local Catholic Charities agency. They say they're aware of migrant families possibly being hosted at Westfield State University and will help in any way they can if that happens. Reporting live in studio, Daniel Santiago, Western Mass News.